Bonjour everyone and welcome back to my studio. Today we're going to take a look at Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show and explore how it looked like a high-end music video and not like a regular live TV event. Super Bowl is just not a sports game. It's one of the most watched TV broadcasts of the year in America. This year's halftime show didn't look like broadcast TV. It looked like a high-end music video. It's probably the most technically sophisticated live TV show in the world. They used a massive multi-camera setup. The Sony Venice, the Sony Burano, these are high-end cinema cameras with superior color sounds, unlike traditional broadcast cameras. You can use a professional camera log workflow with these cameras, shoot in S-Log3 and create a custom show lot. And we'll see how that will help you to get a different rendition from the traditional video look. Let me show you how this was likely achieved and how you can recreate that look in post in Resolve. Without further ado, let's dive in. First, we are going to study how regular live TV looks like. And these stills are from the World Cup 2022 in Qatar. And look, we are going to see that the reds look very saturated, all right? The greens look quite punchy and vivid as well, vibrant. The contrast looks a little bit flat. The whites look pretty white, bluish white, you know. In Bad Bunny's performance, we've got much more filmy rendering. Look at the contrast, look at the density, how the greens look. Look at the reds. The whites are creamy in comparison. They have a little bit of a warm tint to them. In the broadcast TV images, the whites look very white, actually bluish rather than neutral. And we've got creamy, warm whites here. Look. And this looks a lot closer to a high-end music video look than this, which looks very much like a video look for broadcast TV. Also, what we have here is a nice, elegant highlight roll-off that we don't have here. The highlights look very pingy. The shadows look very defined and crisp, and we're seeing all the details in the shadows. Here, it's much more controlled and faded. So all these characteristics help to shape that beautiful, filmy look. So what happened with Bad Bunny's performance is that they shot in S-Log3 with all these cinema cameras, so Sony Venice, Sony Burano, which have already superior color science. The S-Log3 log profile also allowed to mold whichever look that we want and then create a show lot so that all the camera angles get that beautiful cinematic rendering. And for today's look, we're going to work essentially with this image. For my project settings, I am set to Davinci RGB color managed, color processing mode HDR Davinci wide gamut intermediate, and output color space Rec 709 gamma 2.4. This will ensure that I'm grading in Davinci wide gamut color space. By the way guys, if you want to know more about color management, what it's for and how to set it up easily, I have a quick start guide that you can access for free. Link is in the description. That image is from a red camera and let's see what we've got here. So let's look at the overall contrast and levels of exposure first, and we are much more high key and open here. So first I need to bring down my level of exposure. I'm going to use the HDR wheel, the global wheel, and I'm going to drive my exposure down until when I compare both scopes, they align a little bit closer to one another. I'm going to look at this image. I'm also going to look at that image. And overall, you can see that that was before, now that's after. We are already a little bit closer. Now I want to create a new node, pressing Option S. And now in my Powergrades folder, I'm going to look for LookDev, and I'm going to drag and drop the LookDev Powergrade right here. Two nodes are going to populate, one which is called Split, and we're going to build our split tone with that one, and another one which is called Contrast, and we're going to shape contrast with these. There is a point that you can see here which is anchored on middle gray, which means that when I'm going to create my look, middle gray is going to be preserved. If you want to access this Powergrade to follow along or build future looks of your own, it's a free download. Link is in the description. First, let's take a look at our contrast, because this is what is mostly responsible of the look in an image. So I'm going to look at Bad Bunny's performance here, and I need to shape the shadows here. So below my middle gray, this is where my shadows live. Above my middle gray point, this is where my highlights live. So I'm going to just drop a point here in order to densify my shadows. So that's before, that's after. Let's look at Bad Bunny's image here. We're getting a little bit closer already just by doing this action. I'm going to look at my highlights, and I want to be careful with my highlights, because when I look at the white from the tank top here, it's getting a little bit pingy. And here in what we've got going on in Bad Bunny's performance, highlights are sitting much lower, like we see on our parade here. See the peaks here? Much more lower. So I'm going to drop my white point here and just roll these highlights in like that. So that's before, that's after. Before, after. Let's look at our shadows a little bit here. Let's create a little bit of a shadow roll-off right there. There you go. Right now for contrast, I'm quite happy here. So just with two nodes here, we're getting our overall feel much more closer to our reference. Now what actually strikes me is look at the greens, how nuclear they are in the image that we're working on versus our reference. And this is totally normal, because we've got just a regular conversion from log to Rec 709 here. There's no look imparted here. We need to shape that ourselves. So I'm going to create a new node before my split, pressing Shift S, and I'm going to call this hue. Let's pull my vector scope here, engage in 2x zoom so that we see our trace a little bit bigger here for you guys. And look, there's quite a bit of a difference between the greens from our image here and the ref. Much more controlled and subdued. So we're gonna look at that in a moment. If you are in Davinci Resolve 20, we can use some new tools that are at our disposal and are pretty effective to use. So I'm going to open my color warper here, and I want to basically draw this part in, Warren, okay? Just to match a little bit more what we've got on our vector scope when I just pull my ref in. Let's go some more. Let's also keep a look at our image, but right now we're already looking much more closer with just this action. Hold on a second. Are you enjoying the content on the channel? If you are, please do me a favor and pause the video, double check if you are subscribed. If you are, all good. If you are not, that's an easy fix. Just click the subscribe button and the notification bell. Let's go on with the video. I want to go back to my contrast node, and I just want to open my curve again and shape my shadows a little bit more. Somewhere like that feels fine to me. Now regarding our overall saturation, if I go to my vector scope, looks like we're pretty much in the ballpark, okay? But what we are missing now is that warm push in the highlights. If I compare the peaks of my scopes here, they're pretty flat, all right? They're pretty much equal. It's even leaning a little bit towards blue here. When I look at what we've got in this reference, they are not equal. Blue sits much lower than green and then red. So we're going to go to our split node here. Let's open the curve. I'm going to pull my image here. I'm going to select my blue channel, and I'm going to subtract some blue in the highlights. And see, when I do that, my blue channel starts to compress. So let's go down. All right. I'm going to grab a point here and just pin it here so that my shadows remain unaffected. So that's blue. I'm going to do the same for green. Let's pin a point right there first. Okay. And let's just lower our green channel a little bit just to kind of align the peaks here. And now if I look at my shadows in my reference, they seem to look a little bit cool to me. So yeah, there's a little bit of cyan in my bottom shadows, so I'm going to do the same here with my split. So open my curves again, go to my red channel, and I'm going to just inject a little bit of just cool in the bottom shadows. I'm going to pin a point about here, okay? Yeah, just that little touch I think helps. So that's before the look, that's after, before, after. And if I were to use what we have created on another clip here, so maybe let's go to this one, let's apply, and look, so exposure, maybe we have to tweak it, so let's see. Let's open exposure a little bit. We might want to warm our grains a little bit, okay? So I'm going to create a node before my hue node. I'm going to call this hue versus hue. Let's pick the grains here, all right? I'm going to rotate my grains a little bit warmer. So it's before and it's after. Some more, before, after. Yeah, just a touch here, like about 3. Now let's apply that here. I think we're looking pretty close, and we've got the essence of that look. So when we turn everything off, so we've got our exposure down, but we have very pingy highlights, so the contrast is helping driving that down. We have the split tone, which is helping drive some warmth in the highlights, and we are controlling the grains so that they're not getting too nuclear. In fact, if I go to my hue node here and open here, I can maybe just drive these grains a little bit more over there. Yeah, somewhere like that I feel is helping, so that we are making sure we are compressing the entire grain vector here. And let's apply it here. Let's copy this hue node, paste it here. Yeah, so it's not changing anything here, but it's helping here. We can take a look at another image here. So I have applied my overall look that we have created here. So before the look, that's after. The look that I'm going to call BB, so this is Bad Bunny's look that we have created here. So this is our look. And what is setting it apart now is the red, all right? Because our red from this boy's t-shirt is quite nuclear, so we need to take a look at that. So now I'm going to open my color warper again, and actually let's see where this red lives. So it's right there, it's very peaky red. So I'm going to add a point right here, and I'm going to drive my exposure slider down. Before, after. Maybe not as much before, after. I'm also going to drive the red down a little bit in saturation. Somewhere like that. Before, after. before, after. And this is a broad correction, all right? It shouldn't break my image. So that is before the look, that is after. Before, after. This is not a one-to-one match, but we managed to get the key characteristics of this look and implement them to different shots to create a global look that is traveling well to different images. And now if I borrow my density node and go and paste it here, okay, in the same place, it's also impacting the lollipop here a little bit, which is what we want. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I think that we've got a nice little look here in place that is giving our image some character and getting us closer to this world. Now I suspect that what they have going on for Bad Bunny's performance here is a much more complex and robust look than what we have going on here. Of course, we managed to emulate the essence of the look, but we would need to take care of different lighting conditions and scenes in order to make sure that it travels well, doesn't break anything, etc. Maybe put some more complexity that I can't go into in a tutorial like that. I have put a similar level of care and attention when designing the Pure Tone LUT library that is available as a link in the description if you want to check it. Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed this breakdown. Please let me know down below in the comments what you thought about it. Subscribe to the channel not to miss the future videos that I'm going to make. Leave a like and I'll see you in the next video. Salut, prenez soin de vous.